Hi, today let me tell you how to write the discussion section in a thesis. You have reached this point of your thesis, so it's really a great milestone. But this is one of the two difficult areas in a journal paper or in a thesis. For me, introduction is difficult and discussion is difficult. Let me share some tips with you to make your life easier on this. So today I'm going to talk about three areas, three skills you will learn. First, to differentiate between results and discussion. Secondly, to identify important results to discuss. And lastly, I'll tell you the steps to get started. Firstly, let's differentiate between results and discussion sections in a journal paper or in a thesis. Normally, the results and discussion are in chapter 4. And after we have described our results, the last part we come to is the discussion. To write a good discussion, we need to know what it is not. Very often, when we talk about discussion in daily life, it is a matter of giving our opinions. But in a thesis, a discussion is not a sharing of personal opinions. It is very far from this. It is also not results. You see, I put here an excerpt from a journal paper website. They are so tired of researchers writing their results all over again in the discussion. It is not a summary or elaboration of results. Then what is a discussion? Well, it is the place for us to interpret our results and to describe the significance of our results. And this is in the context of the research problem. Because when we first proposed this study or when we first did this study, we argued that in this research problem or in this topic, there is this part that is less understood. Now we have come to the end of our study. So what new things do we have to offer to explain this research problem better? How do we fill in the gap? This is what a discussion is supposed to do. So that means we need to go back and revisit what was the gap, what was the research gap that led to the study. And now we look at our results and put it into the gap and say, hey, now I can tell you a little bit more and we can understand the topic better. So when we talk about discussion, we are looking at the study within the study and outside of the study. First of all, let me focus on inside the study. Of course, if you have objectives 1, 2, and 3 that collect different sets of results, you need to connect them. And this is still part of the results, where we say whether the questionnaire results and the interview results are giving the same kind of answers to the question. Very often, they may give slightly different answers. So that's when we need to integrate the results. And after we've done that, we need to explain what does it mean in the context of our study or the people we have studied. And this is still our results. We're not talking about discussion yet because it is all about our results. For example, if we say we found that in this group of students, the English proficiency was only at the social level when they enter university. So what does this mean? This means that when they enter university, they probably have problems reading journal articles and understanding them because their English proficiency is not up to the academic level. So this is explaining the results in the context of the study. Now let's look beyond, outside of our study. This is when we look at our results and compare them with other results in the field. Is it similar or different from other people's results? And when we make that comparison, we need to know why the results might be the same or different. The why goes back to the method of the study and the people studied. Different levels of students, rural, urban students, students from top universities and students from ordinary universities, they all make a difference. And also the instruments used. How were the data obtained? What sort of data were obtained? All these need to be brought into the discussion to understand why certain things are that way, or why our results might be similar or different from other people. I show you 4 sentences and let you see which might be discussion of results. I think you will pick number 2, the green color, and number 4, the black color, because there are citations of other people. And it is correct, but this is only the first sentence, and we need to go into a detailed comparison of our results with their results. Let me move to the second part. How do we find important results to discuss? Now, this is the part that floors us because very often we feel like maybe we should do a comprehensive job and discuss all the results we found. No. This is not right because it shows a lack of analytical thinking. We need to go for the main ideas in the results. Then the details will come in as we start to compare with other people's results. But you say, well, that still doesn't help me. I still don't know what are the earth-shattering main ideas. I would say, go back to the research gap because this is how you defended the need for your study. Some people made the claim that certain aspects were less understood. So now we offer results to show why we have explained the phenomenon better than other people in the past. Some other people could have made the claim that there were inconsistent results when we tried this method A. Certain researchers say it worked, other researchers say it did not. There were inconsistent results. Now, what do my results say? Maybe it is successful. So now let's compare the method and the people and say why this method is successful in such context. This is a discussion. How do you know there are inconsistent results? Let me show you some keywords here. When we have a certain topic, there will be researchers reporting that certain group respond better than others, certain group were more fluent than others, or certain words like controversy and contrast words like despite the success of some studies, other researchers found. So we know there are inconsistent findings. And this is when we want to come in and say which side of the fence we are sitting on. It's okay, we can choose one side because the side is chosen based on our results. And we want to say, hey, our results are same as A and B, but different from C and D. Now let's find out why this is so and why now I help to explain the phenomenon better. I think this is the part where we need to have a bit of confidence in our results because we are not just giving opinions. We are not discussing things like how we do ordinary conversations. This is all based on our results and we can take sides because the results push us to one side. For example, if we are doing a study that makes us take side whether something is better or not. Finally, let me give you some tips to write a discussion. This is from years of trying to teach research method, years of trying to share my knowledge with colleagues also on how to tackle this very important part. This is an example of how I would start and how I normally start in a journal paper. I would say the aim of the study, which was here to study the impact of communication strategy training on the English speakers, whether it helped them to use more negotiation and discourse strategies. And then I identify 3 findings that are worthy of a discussion. So I say, firstly, that means this is my first finding I want to discuss. So regardless of what type of task that I gave them, I found that feelers were the most frequently used. This is like, let me think about it. By the way, you know, words and phrases that are used to fill in the time while the person is thinking of something else to say. So regardless of the task output, feelers were the most common. And why? So then I go in and compare with other people's findings. Sometimes I borrow their explanation, but I cite them. So here are the steps. I have shown you the very first step. identify 2 or 3 results worth discussing. I also found that it probably helps if we make a table and say, this is my result number 1. So and so found similar results. So and so found different results. So at least then we know who are similar to us and who are different from us. And now let's get down to the job of comparing with one study first. We state our result, like what you have seen me done just now. Then we state their result. So and so also found that fillers were very commonly used whenever they study communication strategies. And their students are similar to mine. They are university level students, for example. Then we come back to ours, my own study. In my case, the fillers used were like this and like that. In their study, the fillers were also this and that. But perhaps in a different study, a second study, the fillers were very different. And they use this kind of words as fillers. And why now? So we go back and forth between our results and their results. But when we have finished with the first study, normally we don't go back to the first study. We will move on to the second one and compare with ours. And then we might move to the third results and compare with ours. And it goes on. Sometimes you may want to pack a few together if there are like 20, 30 studies to compare. You use the multiple citation where you put a few sources in the same bracket. But normally, I would take care to compare one by one because it is very important for me to catch hold of their ideas and their explanation. Because I want to do number 5, the last step. I want to explain the research problem better because I said that this thing is less understood. Now with my results and all these other people's results in the past, I can explain this topic much better. And that is the ultimate purpose of a discussion, because when I use my results to help explain this topic better, it means that I have found something new and I have made an impact in the body of knowledge. So hopefully these steps will teach you how to write a discussion. Whether you do a very good job or not, it depends on how well you understand your own results, the topic, and other people's results and their study. It needs this in-depth knowledge, and normally you can have it if you keep writing and you keep thinking. Eventually you will get there. I've got a few other YouTube videos on writing discussions, so I hope if you watch this, it might help you to write a discussion, a good one for that. Thank you.